And tonight we are learning more about the life of 18-year-old Yamik Johnson. Right now we are about a mile away from the scene itself. We're actually on Beaver Street, and you can see behind me there's the basketball courts here, and we're told that in a little less than an hour they're going to be releasing some balloons in Johnson's honor. I was speaking just a moment ago off camera with his stepmother and his sister, who told me, as you can imagine, they are devastated and seeking justice.
He was a great kid. He never bothered nobody.
Family members embraced, picking up the scene here on Mill Ridge Road in Danbury, where just hours earlier bullets went flying. Family friends told Fox 61 Yamik Johnson was on his way back from the corner store with tacos for a Father's Day cookout when he was tragically gunned down here in the driveway.
He was going to be something one day.
Ralph Brar is good friends with Johnson's father.
I know his father's not handling it really well.
Mariella Lunetta was in her home across the street at the time of the shooting and quickly realized it wasn't fireworks.
I ran out of the house, and then I started doing palpitation.
An off-duty EMT, she desperately tried to save the young man's life.
He was alive. He was coming in and out.
Until she realized her life was in jeopardy. A black vehicle rolled back up to the house.
I ran out in the back of the car because he was about to shoot that other kid.
2 houses down, Maria Fay told Fox 61 she believes Johnson, who did not live in the home, had connections to the neighborhood.
Oh my, that name sounds very familiar.
She's lived here for 30 years and says the violence has just gotten worse.
One of these days, I hope I can get out of here.
Johnson was rushed to Danbury Hospital where he died. Police are searching for that dark-colored SUV. Speaking of Fox 61.
We have no leads right now. We have no motive for the incident.
Police urging you to call 203-790-TIPS if you saw anything suspicious. So as we mentioned, in a little less than an hour, we are expecting those balloons to go up into the sky and be released here as some of his friends and family gather at the basketball courts here along Beaver Street. Police, by the way, would like to assure the Danbury community that they believe this was an isolated incident and that Johnson was targeted. For now, we are live in Danbury. Matt Caron, Fox 61 News.